just we are embarking on the way which represents sort of the collective synthesized core values of how Africans approach religious life. And we are seeking to create an environment that foments that and reconnects us with that sort of core essence of our people. And so that would be what I would describe what we're doing in the House of Amen. We are trying to reconnect with the way of our traditional selves. We are experimenting and promoting the new socio-political science of humor culture for the purposes of personal transformation of House of Amen members and contributing to the Future of America campaign. And so the humor culture is a basic research science around personal transformation of human beings, or re-identification of human beings with their ethnicity, with their core, as Jeremiah Bebe said, their intrinsic value as an entity, a spiritual being. And this is a whole complete system that has been developed by Dr. Nkosi Ajanaku, who was a lawyer that worked many years to develop this system of thought. Now, we're not going to get into this immediately, but I want that to be clear that we will have a system of personal development that is complete, whole, and well documented, and so that this, within the context of the House of Amen, we are not sort of leaving it up to chance that we are going to be able to change ourselves and those around us. We have a system by which we intend to do that, and it's called humor culture. Next, we are utilizing the very word amen and the research of Dr. Jahi Issa to introduce a preaching style that connects the contemporary Christian worship experience that we're so familiar with classical African religion and civilization. The word amen itself creates continuity for our work with the original Nile Valley civilizations of Kemet and the revolutionary thinking that came out of the reign of Akhenaten, the pharaoh, and the monotheistic reforms that brought us the term amen. And we know from Dr. Jahi that word traveled with the people out of the Nile Valley through the desertification process of North Africa and pushing people west into the classic civilizations of West Africa, Ghana, Songhai, Mali, and so forth. Timbuktu. These places you find in the linguistic systems of the people there the root word amen. Because it is the same people, or the descendants of the people from Nile Valley area of Africa. And so we find that there's both sides of the continent span this word. And then we find ourselves here in America, many odd years later, sealing our entreaties to the Almighty, the Divine, with the word amen. Many of us totally ignorant and lacking understanding of how that word got into the Christian environment, how much classical Christianity owes to classical African civilization in the Nile Valley. And so the word amen does for us, which we have not done for ourselves, which is read and learn. The word amen, in its very presence in our own consciousness and our own tongue, transports us across time and space and puts us back into the bosom of classical African civilization in the Nile Valley through the well-developed cosmological systems in West Africa, such as the Akan and Yoruba. And so we find in this word so much power that we actually chose it through essentially the implicit recommendation of Dr. Jahi as the name for what this new evangelical movement we are calling the House of Amen. Now, if that doesn't all come across clear, we're going to keep coming back to that and many times in the future, so don't worry if you're going to stay with us. And so this is the core of the basis of our ministry statement of purpose, and I wanted to put that out there on this video so that for those of you who may not make it to any of our services anytime soon, that you are at least growing in your understanding of what we're trying to do. If somehow we've contacted you, or you're a friend of mine, or of any of our associates, that you begin to have an understanding of what's unique about this ministry and what may actually compel you to become involved. And then I want to just close by responding to a few comments that were made on my Facebook page when I posted some information about the House of Amen. One of our friends, Dadisi Olutusin, he affirmed that this is something that might be of value. And he was cautioning us not to get stuck in the rhetoric of the 60s, 70s, and 80s. And make sure that we're doing something that's relevant. And again, I can tell you that that's the whole purpose, that we're trying to make contemporary what was, which has become somewhat dated. And so that's a lot of what we're trying to do. And then there was some other concerns from Dr. Jahi, actually, about our intention to work across race lines. And I guess I would just close by focusing on that sort of sentiment. Any type of fear in a human being, whether it be fear of the dark, whether it be fear of wild animals, whether it be fear of heights, all of these things are rooted in insecurity of some type or another. We know this from social science. We know that fear comes from a sense of being powerless or unable to deal with the challenge that is before you. When it comes to resistance and concern and fear of nationalists, black nationalists, to engage other groups as we continue our Garveyite construction of a system of independence for our people, this is quite naturally rooted in a sense of insecurity, a sense that we have some great risk at stake in interfacing with people before we are somehow at some magical ready stage to interface with other people. When in fact, every person I know of who considers themselves the most stone cold black nationalist or New Panther Party person has some daily personal interface with the system that which they wish to separate themselves from, or the people that they wish to be so separated from. White people. They have some necessary interaction, whether it's through taxes, whether it's through utilities to service your home, whether it's through your job. We all experience interactions with other groups. And the artificial insulation of those interactions in our worship spaces or anywhere else is really just rooted in a sense of insecurity. Rooted somehow that this space that we're trying to separate ourselves is so tender and so vulnerable that we cannot bear even the presence of another person. Excuse me. Allergies are rough this year here in Atlanta. That we cannot even bear the presence. So this to me is ludicrous, because not only are our personal lives already dealing with this reality of the necessity of interaction with the groups, we are just not that insecure in the House of Amen. We are clear about who we are. We are African people. That we are chosen people by God to do a special thing in the world. We are